everyone, and welcome to Sort of My Podcast. My name is Vincent Herman, Vin the Human, sitting to my left.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vinnie Herman, VinnieWise.
We're going to get things started off with a shout-out. Vin, I don't know if you've seen this going around, but this time we're shouting out IWL, the International Wrestling League, for the funniest thing to come out of this wave of don't spoil Endgame humor. The post I saw was captioned with, Gene Mooney took things too far last night against Rocky Mack, and it shows Rocky in an armbar applied by Mooney, during which Mooney reveals that he saw Endgame and begins whispering in Rocky's ear while he screams and struggles to get away. I thought this was pretty funny, worth mentioning, worth shouting out. Have you not seen that?
No.
Oh yeah,
I have not.
It's pretty funny. And what makes it even funnier is that it looks like Mooney has tape over his nipples. He has X's with tape over his nipples. I don't understand what's going on there, but then again, I haven't really watched one of their shows. Maybe it's a character thing. I don't know. But yeah, thought that was worth mentioning. Moving on, though, we're going to talk about trailers. We don't really have any news, so it's really just these two trailers. It is a slow week in the nerd news world. Not a whole lot worth mention, and yeah, you got to probably blame Endgame for that, because why would you launch anything this close? Cobra Kai. But that first trailer we're going to talk about is the Swamp Thing teaser, actually. Not really much that I can say about it, since the trailer is mostly a cavalcade of horror imagery than it is an introduction to the story. I did, however, notice the Blue Devil suit and thought I might use this as an opportunity to educate the Sortamites on who this character is, and you while we're at it, VinnieWise, because I'm sure you're not familiar with Blue Devil at all.
No, I'm not.
Okay. David Cassidy was working as a stuntman and special effects artist in Hollywood. During filming on a movie called The Blue Devil, the demon Nibiros was accidentally unleashed from within an ancient temple and, thinking Cassidy was an actual demon, tried to drain his demonic powers with blasts of magic. Instead, the blast permanently bonded the suit to Cassidy, turning him into the Blue Devil. It remains to be seen if this is how it'll play out in the show, but this character playing a role in the story should add an interesting element, to say the least. We also got to see a little more of Swamp Thing. We got to see him rise out in that first teaser, but we're still not seeing too much.
No.
Yeah, they're still keeping him a bit of...
This is just seeming like a horror.
Yeah,
so.
it is definitely more horror than I expected it to be. Like, I'm not against that, though. It looks legit scary, like a lot of fun. I haven't read the Alan Moore saga of the Swamp Thing, which is the comic this series is presumably based on, but this teaser has me wanting to check it out. Luckily, I own the first volume, so I'm definitely going to have to pass that your way. What are your thoughts on this trailer, though, you being the resident horror kid on the podcast?
I would probably watch it because of how creepy it is. I don't know. It's just, really creepy.
Anything particularly stand out to you? Like a shot there that was like, wow, that looks pretty terrifying.
Probably when he comes out of the swamp and, takes them underneath the boat.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
that makes me think
and
of,
that's our hero. That's our main character.
Yeah. And that kind of makes me think of, the Friday the 13th game. They're always trying to get... Some of them are trying to get away with the boat. Here's over here, shaking it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for sure looks great. You're going to have to watch it in my room because I have the Roku, and that, unfortunately, is the only way to get the DC Universe app for us right now. It is coming to Xbox One, which still doesn't mean anything to us, but that gives us hope that eventually it'll come to the PlayStation 4. But on its way as well is Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and the what I think is the final trailer just came out. And the first thing to note from this trailer is that, including Mothra, Rodan, Ghidorah, and Godzilla, there are 17 Titans, as they call them in the movie. And I'm assuming King Kong is on the list, since that's the next movie they have slated with Godzilla versus King Kong. But I gotta wonder who else is on this list. Are we gonna see or hear mention of Baragon, Hedorah, Space Godzilla, Monster X, Desostroya, or however you say that? I always get it wrong. And that's without mentioning the mecha side of the pond. When are they gonna build a Mecha Godzilla because maybe Godzilla turns on them? What about Mecha Ghidorah, you know? Like, there is so much on the table here for them to build a long series of movies on. That is if they don't stop pushing this human element of things. The one thing I hated from this trailer is that it's blaringly obvious that the people are gonna play a big part in this thing, which was the biggest problem of the 2014 film. That like so much boring shit until we get to the monster fight. Yeah, who cared? And they made us think Bryan Cranston was going to be a big part of the movie. Nope, dies like, what, first half an hour, I think, I think a 2-hour movie. I understand the motivation of wanting people to play a part of it, like add the human element, and it can be done. I'm sure it can be done right, but it's not why we're paying for the ticket. We want to see monsters fight. that is what is going down. That being said, it does look like there is going to be plenty of what you want to pay for, and having seen this trailer on the big screen just before we saw Avengers Endgame, which we'll talk a little bit spoiler free later on, I can tell you these monster fights are gonna rock my world when they go down. Also, I don't understand the decision to use Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but I gotta give it up for this version of it. I love it.
Yeah, I love it too.
What are your thoughts on this movie? You've seen the first Godzilla.
Yeah.
Have you seen Kong Skull Island?
No,
I haven't seen that one yet. I really got to get to that before this movie.
Yeah.
That's a big one on my list, and I have no excuse. Like, nothing's ever put me off of it. I just haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that. Godzilla versus King Kong. That's going to be nuts. But what are you most excited for in this film? Like, what's standing out to you here?
The monster fight. Yes.
Well, yeah, but like what are we talking? Like Rodan? Is that who you're going for? Are you aware of who these monsters are? When I say Rodan, can you tell me which one of those monsters is Rodan?
No.
Oh God. Okay, so
I know the one.
Rodan is the flying pterodactyl one.
I was about to say that one.
Yeah, Ghidorah is the 3-headed dragon one. Yeah. Mothra is obviously the moth-looking one. And do you know who Godzilla is? Are you aware of Godzilla? Which one Godzilla is? No. Wow. Oh man. No. You can go back to your mom's now. So like now that we've defined who's who, like what's really getting you with this thing?
I don't really know.
Ghidorah seems like a bad motherfucker, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, and he is in the old school films. I mean, if you compare and contrast, the old school films probably look like hacky and lame compared to this, but back then it was like shit. King Ghidorah ain't nothing to fuck with. So, yeah, I think he's really going to bring it. Much like I'm about to bring it with this phone booth news.
Take it away, Travis.
It's time for the news, the phone booth news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the phone booth news, where I try to give you the news faster than Deadpool can save the day, which gives me 3 minutes, 45 seconds. We actually have the phone on hand and ready to go. So, VinnieWise, whenever you're ready.
And now,
in video game news, a recently alleged leak of the Mortal Kombat 11 character select screen may have revealed Ash of the Evil Dead franchise as a DLC character. In comics news, after weeks of slowly adding new titles, the DC Universe app has extended its digital comics library to include over 21,000 single issues. In movie news, during a fan event in Shanghai, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige revealed that Spider-Man Far From Home is actually the end of the MCU Infinity Saga, aka Phase 3, rather than Avengers Endgame. According to the India Times, Anthony Russo seemingly confirmed the Russo brothers-led Russo brothers-led Stan Lee documentary, stating, quote, "We are fascinated by the life of Stan Lee, and we are actually developing a little something that has to do with his work in the history of Marvel," end quote. In other news, if you go to Google and search the name Thanos, followed by clicking the Infinity Gauntlet to the right of the search page, something fun will happen, and that is the news. I didn't make it, did I? I went over time, didn't I?
Yeah, you went, it seems about 1 hour.
1 hour, 8 minutes, yeah. That's about right. 1 minute, 8 seconds, guys. I don't know how I pulled it off with all that news. What was your favorite thing out of the phone booth news?
Probably the last one. If you go to Google and
out
search
of your
Thanos.
5 options here, my favorite thing was the Ash of the Evil Dead franchise. It's not confirmed, but they do have a history of including horror characters like Jason.
Alien, Predator.
Oh, I forgot about Alien and Predator. And they had Freddy Krueger at one point.
Yeah, and it was like Mortal Kombat 8.
Yeah, something like that. But this makes a lot of sense, given that they've done this before, and Ash, in the wake of his show being canceled, Ash vs. Evil Dead, somewhat on a bit of a resurgence path. Like, you're regularly hearing Evil Dead news, even though the show got canceled. It's crazy. So it makes a lot of sense. I'm really excited to play this. It's already out, and I didn't pre-order. We had Endgame coming up. I really wanted to invest my money in that. I didn't want to focus on Mortal Kombat 11, but I can guarantee you I'm going to have that game. And if they're releasing Ash, I can guarantee you I'm getting DLC. I may have strayed away before, but with Ash, I'm in. Unfortunately, that brings us to a more somber segment on the show, one we really haven't had to do lately, and that is because every now and then a legend is brought into this world, but before they can become that legend, they have to pass through this mortal coil and become fallen heroes. Kazuhiko Kato, better known by his pen name Monkey Punch, began working as a manga artist in the 1960s and was responsible for the creation of Lupin III, which centered on the titular character Master Thief and his compatriots as they went on adventures around the world, quickly becoming a smash hit in Japan and worldwide. Kato won numerous awards over the course of his career, including the San Diego Comic Convention Inkpot Award, the Rome Comic Festival Romix Gold Award, the AMD Achievement Award, and the Tokyo Anime Animation Achievement Award, but spent most of his later career working as a teacher to future generations as a professor of manga animation at Otome University, where he gave a number of lectures about the growth and spread of manga. Kato passed away on April 11th from complications related to pneumonia. He was 81. Moving on, though, I think it's time we got caught up. Guys, this is the segment of the show where we talk about what we're reading, listening to, watching, playing, which Vin the Human has something to say about today. But before we get to that, I have kind of been I've been watching a lot of stuff at work lately because I discovered that you can download certain shows and stuff from Netflix. So I've actually started watching Umbrella Academy, and it is really, really good. It is a really fun but really interesting show. I've been having a lot of fun with that, getting caught up on Santa Clarita Diet, which, like I mentioned last episode, really fun show. Let's see what else. We finished our MCU marathon with Endgame, which we'll talk about here after getting caught up. But we've started a new marathon, which is not the one we thought we'd start. What did we watch last night?
The Karate Kid. You're the best.
Around.
But there is one thing I'm actually getting caught up.
No. Well, let's talk about this. Let's not just glance over this. We started the Karate Kid. What did you think of the Karate Kid?
I liked it.
Yeah.
And especially the actual Karate Kid actor. I liked his.
Oh, you mean Ralph Macchio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? A Brooklyn
New York accent, like a New York Brooklyn type accent. Yeah. Kind of more of an Italian New York accent, I would say. But I like the way he talks too. I wish I had that voice.
Hey yo. No.
But I'm really excited to introduce you to the rest of all of this stuff, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch all 5 of the movies, including the Jaden Smith. I'm a fan of it, and I enjoy it, and I know it's not a part of the movie to Cobra Kai universe or whatever, but we have Cobra Kai for such a limited time that we got to get these in quick, and then we're gonna move on to Star Wars. We're gonna start on our Star Wars marathon in prep for episode 9. So Vin, what have you been playing, watching? Oh, also I'm gonna start reading Heroes in Crisis, because apparently Tom King is getting death threats for whatever happened in issue 8, and I am 5 issues behind, so I need to get caught up and find out what the fuck he did. So, anyways, turn it over to you, Vin. There's something you wanted to talk about specifically.
Well, there's one thing I have been watching on Netflix.
Okay.
And that is the Twilight Zone.
Oh, the original Twilight Zone?
Yes.
Nice. Good pull. What's your favorite one so far?
Well, I'm on the first season, and I think my favorite right now is the first episode.
The first episode, that's where everyone has disappeared,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah, and it's just this one guy trying to
Yeah.
figure out what happened. But yeah, that's really cool. Cool. What else you been doing?
Well, I've been playing the Avengers Endgame mode on Fortnite.
Yeah, how's that going? I've had a few people who I didn't expect to tell me it's actually really fun.
Yes, it really is fun. Like, when I first played it, I was one of the Mad Titan kids.
Okay, so you were one of the Black Order. Which one were you? Were you Ebony Maw, Proxima Midnight?
It's like those one guys from the first Avengers movie.
Oh, you're talking about the Chitauri.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like, they have some good aim. I'm not gonna lie.
Have you got to play as Thanos yet?
No, but I
Okay.
have. When I was a superhero, I have killed Thanos.
Okay,
Yes,
cool.
and I've got.
Now, when you're a superhero, do you get to play as Captain America, or
No.
is it like people with Avengers-like attributes?
Yeah, it's them with the their shields, the hammers. That when I was playing, I got all of the weapons. I got the Captain America shield, Hawkeye's bow.
Okay, so you can get multiple weapons
You
at a
can get,
time.
like four
Okay,
of them.
cool.
Yeah, I got Iron Man's gauntlets. When they give you aimbot, basically.
I don't know what that is. What is aimbot?
Well, it's like you can like shoot people and it'll like show where they are at, like where they're at. There's gonna be a circle,
Yeah.
and if you're around, if they're like running, you can shoot them while they're running, and you don't
Okay.
even have to move it because you're like moving yourself.
Okay, so it's like
Basically
auto
cheating,
aim.
hacking.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
like auto aim.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and is this like a free to play mode on it, like
Yeah.
like most of the other stuff? Because
Yeah, and
I know
there's,
there was there's a mode on there that you have to pay for, isn't there? No.
No.
Oh, okay. There
Save
was
the world. Save the world.
Okay. Save the world you have to pay for?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I knew there was something on there because I used to play Battle Royale with you on there a little bit
Yeah.
and stuff. I'm kind of interested in checking this out. Like, I got bored with the game and we weren't able to play anymore for one reason or another. And I stopped playing, but this is reason enough to get me
Yeah,
back involved.
and there's the Black Widow skin, which has the two types where she has the red hair or the blonde hair. And then I have the emote where it's like you kicking like karate or something.
Okay, that could be... How is that specifically Avengers, though?
Because it's Marvel. It's
Yeah.
Marvel based because it'll
Okay.
say it's Marvel.
Okay. Or it could just be any karate kick. They could have literally just put karate kick on it and nobody would have ever guessed that it was Marvel. Yeah, just broke their logic wide open. It wasn't too hard to do, son. Trust me, it wasn't a stretch. Moving on from there, why don't we actually talk about the thing that inspired this new mode of Fortnite, Avengers Endgame itself. And this is going to be 100% no spoilers. We are not going to talk about specific moments in the film. We're not going to talk about what we thought of this character, what we thought of that character. We're just going to talk about our emotions about this film, like why and how we loved it. And I think the best thing I can say is that for my entire life, Star Wars has been the ultimate franchise for me. I've been connected to it. I've treated it like a religion. And now because this movie came out, because this Infinity Saga is coming to an end, I feel like something has taken out. I feel like it has dethroned Star Wars for me, and the MCU is now my 100% favorite film franchise from beginning to end. Having seen every movie with you and recently gotten to take this whole journey that I've been on for 10 years again in the span of a few months has really brought everything into the light for me as like, yes, this is special. This is different. This is unique as just movies go. And there are people out there saying, oh, it's just a movie, but is it? Is it really? Because what other movie franchise has pulled this off? Star Wars can't get away with its interconnectivity because People don't want to read the books and all that
like-
stuff. And even then, there's continuity errors. So what other franchise has done this? What other franchise has made this kind of money, made this kind of impact, brought nerd culture into the mainstream? Something that was unthinkable. Being a nerd is cool, is fine, is awesome, in fact, these days. You know, something that if you had told me in high school or grade school, I would have laughed. I'd have said, you're fucking crazy, and you're obviously from some alternate dimension I've heard of in a comic book. So yeah, this was very special to me. This was very special to me. What are your thoughts, son? We've been on this journey together, technically. Now, you don't remember way back when we saw Captain America the First Avenger. Of course, you were real little, but you were into it. I don't know if you've ever seen the picture of you in the Captain America shirt. You've got the little shield and the little mask. It's fucking adorable. But, yeah, like, you've been on this journey for 10 years as well as recently taking the whole journey again with me. So what are your thoughts? Like, how do you feel connected to these films?
I was really connected all the way to start to Iron Man, all the way to Endgame, all the way to the Avengers first movies. I love all of them.
How are you feeling about this movie specifically?
I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
One of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah. Now that is not to say, like, okay, this movie is not going to hold your hand. When you walk into this movie, you better have seen Avengers Infinity War. You better have and more importantly than that, because Avengers Infinity War doesn't hold your hand, you better have at least seen a select, like,
Guardians of the Galaxy,
yeah, like
Doctor Strange.
There are 7 or 8 movies you need to have seen before walking into Infinity War, because otherwise you are missing out on a lot of element and world building. So Avengers Endgame, while it is not the greatest film in terms of anyone can sit down, watch this, and love it, it is the greatest MCU film if you have been a ride or die. Like, for anyone who has seen everything necessary, this means the world to you. This is going to be the ultimate, the Omega, you know?
The OG. Wait, no. Iron Man is the OG.
Iron Man is the OG. Yeah. But I agree with you. It is my favorite superhero movie of all time. Just in what it made me feel. And here we are. We saw it on Thursday. We're recording here on Saturday. And honestly, I'm hoping by Monday when this comes out, I'll still be thinking about it. But it has not left my mind at all. And there are moments when I cried right in front of my son. Full on, no shame, I cried twice. Once from joy and once from sadness. And the last time I cried from joy in an MCU movie was back in 2012 when the moment where all of the Avengers are assembling in that circle and the camera is coming down and panning in a circle around them. And I was just thinking, wow, this is happening. Like, who would have thought this would have ever happened? Like, back then, the movie Avengers was like nothing we'd ever seen, and it was working. The whole thing was working. Having that many characters, big name actors in one movie should fall apart, crash and burn, and destroy the whole franchise. But it worked perfectly. It breathed new life. It was fantastic. I'm running away with this thing now. What were some of the emotions you walked away with?
Very sad. Wow.
Yeah, when we were walking out, all you could talk about was how depressed you were. It's like, it made you sad, yeah. And that's not to say this whole movie's going to be a bummer.
I never cried.
But it's also not to say you're not going to get excited at points. You're not going to laugh at points, because you will. Those elements are in here too. It's a fun movie, and it's an exciting movie. It's an action-packed movie, but it's also a heavy movie. It carries a lot of weight with it. If you are connected to any of these characters at some point, they're going to make you feel something. So anything else you want to say about this movie, about your experience seeing it? Well, let's talk about the theater experience a little bit. I love going to see a movie on day one with the right crowd. Now, we did have the dipshit behind us who couldn't stop talking at more than normal volume, even. Like, he had to be heard by the two people next to him, and subsequently the people 3 fucking rows ahead of us. So that guy was an idiot. But he didn't do it the whole movie. Like, it felt like he got the idea at some point.
But there was one guy that was coughing
God,
for the whole movie.
This guy just adjacent to your right, like, I hated him. Like, so many times I stopped myself from going, really, bro? Just go out and have a lozenge. Like, for fuck's sake.
Must have had tuberculosis or something.
Give your balls a tug, figure it out. But, you know... I laughed right into the mic there. That's sorry, listeners. Anyways, I hated that guy. But he didn't ruin the film for me. Like, it seemed like when the big, most important things were going down, he was either controlling himself or he just didn't have to. Either way, I'm thankful for that. But yeah, it had its elements there. But then we had elements at one point in the film. I yell out, yes! Yes! Like, as loud as they didn't care, couldn't even be bothered to find the impulse to control myself. It was that exciting, but it didn't matter, because as soon as that moment happened, the crowd erupted in applause. It was amazing, and we weren't even close to done with the film yet. And I started the applause during the credits.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of that. It seemed like, and you were saying this yourself, what were you thinking when I was first started clapping?
I was like, should I clap with him?
Because it felt like a moment. Like, it felt like it took a minute for anyone else to get on my side, but I was clapping. I didn't care. I was happy. I was that happy with it. I was gonna clap. If we can clap at the fucking credits for Shazam, we can clap for Avengers Endgame. So, you're looking at me like I'm insane right now. What are you thinking right now?
I'm like, what is going on?
I'm excited. I'm energetic about this. Like, you are growing up in a world where all of this is on the table. All of it is normal. Like, you don't know what it's like to be on the outside, to know that the next time you're probably going to see a good superhero film could be 10 years from now, you know? Like, it's around the corner every day, every month for you. It's in your hand. It's on your TV. I didn't have that when I was your age. I didn't learn about the internet until I was your age, and even then it was like kind of the Wild West. So to see these things come to life is breeding everything from my childhood. When you played with your toys and you would tell these little stories and have these battles and stuff, I used to do the same thing, but I couldn't like do that and then go, oh, now I want to watch Avengers Captain America Civil War and just go do that, you know? No, I just had to dream it up in my head and let it all be a fantasy. Now it is still a fantasy, because it is being realistic. It isn't a religion. It isn't real life. It is a movie. I get that. I understand that. But I'm impassioned by it just being something very special to me. Something I never got as a child and couldn't have even thought to get as a child. But here I am, an adult, and I can be in love with it as much now because it's fine. Like we said, it's cool to be a nerd now. It's cool to like this shit. It is fine for me to be this excited. So, and I'm sorry you don't feel that. I get it, but I'm glad you enjoy it. And just know that it is special because of what it means to my generation, not necessarily because of what it means to your generation. Do you understand that? Is any of that tracking?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I just had to yawn.
Is there anything else? My energy is sapping the energy out of him. I am absorbing his youth through the powers of Avengers Endgame. Anyways, is there anything else you want to say about this?
No.
No? Nothing else? It was really fun, guys. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But that is to say, if you haven't seen Captain America, the first Avenger, Iron Man, you haven't seen Doctor Strange, you haven't seen Spider-Man Homecoming, if you haven't seen Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity War, if you haven't seen like 8 movies, then you need
Stay
to
away from it.
Yeah, you need to go back, do your homework, then come out to the theater and get blown the fuck away. It is great. It is fantastic. It's worth your money. It's worth the $65 I paid in concession. I am not even mad about it because we got the collector's cups, we got the combos, we got the candy, and I'm happy about every fucking cent I paid for it. And that's not even including tickets. And me and Alpha Spectre are talking about going and seeing it in IMAX because it was actually filmed on IMAX cameras, which means it's meant to be seen on this big sprawling fucking screen. So, yeah, that's going to happen. I'm going to spend even more money on concessions. So, anyways, guys, like this episode if you liked it. Subscribe if you loved it.
You're checking this out somewhere while here. Why not comment your thoughts on any today's stories, share, and hit that bell on YouTube if you want to know when the newest episodes are up.
Like our nerd news page, Sort of My Comics on Facebook, and follow Sort of My Podcast on Instagram.
Check out Subject to Change Entertainment on Facebook and Twitter.
And all of our personal social media is down in the description below. My name is Vincent Herman, Vin the Human.
My name is VinnieWise, also known as Vinnie Herman.
And cue that impassioned youth-stealing outro music.